Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I've got a little bit of a different video for you today. I kind of went on a little shopping spree and I thought I'd bring you along with me for a little bit and then show you what I bought, and then I'm going to have several flips with some of the items that I bought, so I hope you enjoy that.
Putting on my socks.
Okay, so that's my friend Kathy, and we're driving to McKinney, and she was putting her socks on as she was driving, and I thought that was video worthy. Anyway, yeah, so we got there, and there were many vendors, and they all had a tremendous amount of things in their booths, a lot of vintage stuff, which we really both enjoy. And we just took our time, and went through. I think we hit just about every booth. I purchased a lot of things, and I ended up having to go back on Sunday because they had a little area there where you keep your, things as you're shopping, you check it in. Well, they didn't give me one of my bags, and I didn't notice it, and it was actually a pretty big bag. And so we had to drive all the way back there the next day. This time I went with my husband. And yeah, so the next day was even more fun because I got him to carry my bags and pay for everything. So we had a really good time. And there was lots of good things. And I will show you all the little goodies that I bought later on in the video. So I pick up that little Santa, and I'm always on the lookout for these vintage Santas that their face doesn't look weird. I don't know if you've noticed, some of them just look kind of strange. So yeah, if you can find one that their face doesn't look all distorted. I'm showing you that sled for $95 because I had just recently bought two. I showed you that one recently that I bought for $20. So here's my friend Kathy in front of Santa. And honestly, we had a blast just picking through all the booths, and we purchased quite a bit. I love these windows, guys, and yeah, we're going to be doing some just like that. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, so we just kind of spent the day, had some lunch. It was really good for me. I kind of needed a little bit of a break, just to kind of get away and not think about things and have a day to myself. And of course, just looking at all the wonderful vintage finds is just a blast. They have these vintage market days all over Texas in different towns. I don't know if the same vendors go to each of them, but I was talking to some of the vendors, and they said that they do go to, like, several shows all at Christmas time. And let me know if you guys, any of you all do things like this, because I really love it. I love, I used to do craft fairs all the time with my friend Kathy there, and we loved it and had a really good time. It's just really hard for me nowadays to haul everything there and spend the whole weekend and that kind of a thing. So unfortunately, I don't really do that very often anymore. But anyway, yeah, so we had a really good time, and we did buy a lot of stuff. We're very competitive to see who gets the most. These were all of our bags, minus the one that I left there. See that one big shopping bag with the red handles? I left another whole bag there that big and didn't even realize it. So these are some of the things I picked up. I picked up this wonderful saucer. I love these Christmas ones there. I think I always pick up things like that. They were $5 for each set, which I thought was very reasonable. I got this pink glass. I think that was around $3.50. I think I can't remember the prices on all of them, and I don't even know where all the prices are, but it was really, really reasonable. Most of the prices at most of the booths I thought were extremely good. Uh, for a fair, I got this little Lennox container. I love vintage old collectibles. I just love them. I might decorate them. I might not. I might just put it in my booth like this. Now, this is not vintage, but I really liked it. I thought it was really cute. It'd be a great little container to put a tree in. Let's see what else I have here. I bought several of these little sifters. They were very reasonable. I think I got like one for $8 and one for $7, and yeah, this big piece here was $10, which I absolutely love. I think she said it was made from a bedpost or something. So yeah, I love it. It was really pretty. They had a bunch of things like that. I got this drawer there. This is a sewing, antique sewing drawer, and it was $10, which I think is very reasonable for that. And she gave me all the pine cones too, which is great. Let's see, what else did I get? Lots of different things. There's the front of that box. I bought quite a few containers that I'm going to be putting some little odds and ends in and sitting them around. Like, I love this milk glass container. I may just put some sea bulbs in it or something and have it just sitting there. I absolutely love this little pink container. I may, put some things in it for Christmas, but I thought that'd be a great thing to have just around. And then also, too, like I said, I may put some of these things in my booth, but we'll see. We'll see what I don't know. I can't keep everything, although I want to. Let's see, I think I got another little tin container. I got that one and another one. I always like them to have something on the side because if I decorate the top, I want, there to be something vintage on the sides. I got that little washboard, and it was really old. I got this little ironstone pitcher that was really fun. Got that today on Sunday when it was half off. That was half off. Yeah, it's kind of good to go on the last day. You get a lot of good deals. That was half off. So I was like, that was like $2.50 with the saucer. I love that. Oh gosh, I don't know, guys. I got this little quail thing. I don't even know if that's what it is, but I thought it was kind of cool. It was like $2. I bought that canister set too, by the way, and it was like $20. So yeah, I'm gonna use it for me, I think. I got these doorknobs. I love these doorknobs. They ended up being like $2.50 a piece, which is incredibly cheap for those. Yeah, so I got a lot of tins, I'll tell you that. Okay, so I bought these blocks, and they didn't have the big Y, but I think I can work with what I found, and they were like 50 cents each. I got this stack of books here. One of them is a hymnal. I love old hymnals. Just absolutely love them. Just for the pages in them, and the music pages in them. So, and also too, the colors, the green and the red, that would make a great book stack. So, yeah. And I bought those little pans. I think I got those for, one was $5 and one was $8, and it came with a lid. I got this set of outdoor lights, And I think that ended up costing me 15. My husband was like, why do you want those outdoor lights? Because they're collectibles. Anyway, yeah. He thought, what are you going to do? Are you going to, they'll catch on fire. But anyway, this is just an empty box that I bought. And that was $5. And I'm going to be making something with that. Hopefully this year, if I have time. So, yeah, I bought, yeah, those are the pans again. I really love those. I couldn't believe the price. I was so happy because I've been looking for them. You know, guys, don't be afraid to go to a vintage market or even antique stores to buy things, because I have found, quite honestly, you can get things for just about as cheap as you can find them in the thrift store. I mean, don't be afraid to go shop there. And, you know, plus if you can go and get stuff all in one place, then guess what? You know, you're not spending all that gas and all that time. Yep, there's another can. Yeah, my friend Kathy knew I was trying to collect those, so she was on the lookout for them for me. And I really love little milk glass dishes at Christmas time. You can put little candies in them. You can put little ornaments. I just love having them around. I love that sifter there. I'm going to have to do something with it. I think I got one of those before like that. This one was really cool. So, yeah, I'll be doing something. Guys, see all those spindles? Yep, I got them for $1 a piece. They were $2. And the guy gave them to me for $1. And so I was so excited. Yeah, because I see people with them all the time and I never get them. Look at that wonderful red enamel pot. And that was $12. Which I was happy to pay for. It is beautiful. Perfect. That jar was $16. And then this Santa Claus, he was like 13 or 14. I can't remember. And, yep, another 10. I was so happy to get that. That was only $6. The reason they were marked so low is they didn't have tops. But I don't need tops on them for what I do with them. So it worked out really well. Yeah, so we were on the lookout for tins. I got this old muffin tin, which I love those, the old ones. I mean, you can always make things look old, but don't mind my mess, guys. I really have stacks of stuff that I am trying to go through. Those are some enamel bowls that I got. I got 2 of them. And I think both of them together were like $6.50 or something. They're really crazy. Yeah, lots of tins. This one right here, oh my gosh, I love this one. Ah, I love it. That was really cheap. I think it was like $8 or something like this. Crazy. This one I love. Check that out. It's a Coca-Cola one. Now that one I actually paid up for. That I think I paid like $12, which I normally would not pay that much. Isn't that one, that Lucky Brand one? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love that one. That was really cool. And let's see, I got that jar of ornaments. I absolutely love that. I'm going to probably leave it the way it is. You could buy them individually. She had them in there for like $2 or $3. And I asked her if I could buy the jar, and she sold it to me. So I was really happy about that. I got a couple of separate ornaments. I have a wreath that I'm trying to make, and I wanted a couple more like that. So yeah, those were $5, but they were worth it. Yeah, that jar is amazing. So, yeah, I've got to go in and take all the little tags off of them, but, yeah. And look how she decorated it with that little collar. That's why I just love going to places like this, and, you know, I love shopping in antique stores, and anyway, yeah, I got those blocks already done, so I will probably do something with that. That book stack was ordered like that, and it's all like Christmas books. And it was $20, and she gave it to me for, I think it was $15, because I had bought so much stuff from this one lady. Yep. So anyway, yeah, and then look at all those spindles. Is that crazy or what? Yeah, and I'm kicking myself because he had tons. I should have bought more. I should have bought more. I mean, really, where can you get them that cheap? You know, right? So I got these little cards. I don't think they're vintage, but that was cool. They were $1 a piece. And then here's I'm very proud of my spindle stash, guys. I really, really am. Because I was, you know, looking for old chairs and cribs and things. And this would probably end up being even cheaper than going out and getting those and cutting them up. And these are really old. And plus, not only that, guys, when you go to these things, I got this guy's contact information, where he's at, and he has stuff, all kinds of stuff, all kind of salvage stuff, which I love. So yeah, that's one good reason to go to. And then, yeah, there's my canisters. I was very proud of those. I'm really happy I got them. Anyway, so let's just get into our crafts. We have some spindles that we're going to work on. So the first thing I did is just clean them up. I just use alcohol and make sure I get them nice and clean. And all I'm going to do with these is I am going to coat them with, I actually think I went over them twice. 2 coats of a clear coat. And I used Paint Couture's, I think it was Extreme Guard. And I went over it 2 times. 1 coat, let it dry, and then I did another coat. Just because the wood, it's old, it's dry, and we're going to be using milk paint. And if you do not do that with milk paint, what will happen is the milk paint won't crack or crackle or do any of that stuff. And we're wanting some crackle on our milk paint, so that's what I'm going to be expecting. So, and we do get a little bit of it, but it's really hard on dry wood that has not been sealed to get any kind of crackle at all if you don't seal it. So that's my tip. Okay, so after that Extreme Guard is dry, I am going to take different colors of milk paint. This is Sweet Pickins milk paint, and I do sell it on my website, rehatchdesigns.com. And we are fully stocked, guys, so if you have anything that you need for Christmas, we have it. I am going to use mainly Red Wagon and a little bit of Cherry Pie. I'm going to mix both of those. The Cherry Pie is a little bit darker. It's going to give it a little bit richer red. I'm kind of going for more of kind of a primitive look for this. And so I want a little bit of a darker red. I don't want a super bright red. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that up. And then I'm going to go ahead and work on the green. And I'm going to be using In a Pickle as my main color. I love this green for Christmas, guys. It's fantastic. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of basil to that. That basil is a very dark, rich green. I just want to darken up the In a Pickle a little bit. And so I mix those together. And I always put a little extra powder. You're supposed to do it equal parts powder to water. But I tend to put a little extra powder because I like it a little bit thicker. I think I get a little bit more crackling. You just kind of have to play with it and figure it out for yourself. That's kind of how I do it. And my last color is going to be just a white color. And we're just going to use creamy. So I mix it up really, really good. I'm going to let this set out for about 10. It's probably going to really set out for about 15 minutes by the time I get everything done. And I'm adding a little extra basil to it just because I really do want a little bit darker color because I'm wanting a little bit more of a primitive look. And then my last color is the white, which is kind of an off-white. And we're just going to go ahead and put some of that in there, and it will be, I'm guessing on the amount because it's the bottom of a bag, but I will mix that up probably 50-50 because I think it's a little bit less thick than the other ones when I get done, but I usually end up putting a little extra powder in like you saw me do just to kind of thicken it up because I just like it a little bit thicker. I think it works better for me. So now I'm putting my second coat of Extreme Guard on. I'm going to let that absorb in there and dry. And this is just going to allow me to get some crackle and chipping and crazing. If I did not do that, you wouldn't get any at all. You can also use a spray sealer. You don't have to use this. I'm just using it because I have it. It's easy, and I'll probably just dry it and then go ahead on and move on to the next step. Okay, so now I'm just putting on my first coat of paint, and I'm starting out with the white, and it's going on pretty thick, but it's absorbing pretty well simply because we have just a very, very dry spindle here. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that, and I'm going to dry it with my heat gun that makes you have more crackle and crazing. And then I'm going to put on a second coat. So now after it's dry, I've had 2 coats on, I'm going to go ahead and use my finger sander, and I'm going to take off any of the loose paint and also go in there and do some additional distressing because I want this to look fairly distressed. The idea is to make it look old, and that's what we're going for here. So now after I do that, I set it aside, and I'm going to go through the same process with the red. The red does not seem to be cracking quite as much. It's weird. I don't know why. It's a lot of it has to do with your substrate, whatever you're putting it on. Even though we used the same sealer, whatever, but it'll all be different. So I'm going to go through the same process with this. Put 1 coat on, dry it with my heat gun. Then I'm going to put another coat on, and then I'll sand off anything that's loose or extra, and also do some extra distressing. So now I'm just going to do the green, and the green does a little bit more chipping. I'm not really sure why. It's, like I said, I really do think it has a lot to do with whatever you're putting the paint on. So we'll go over it one time again, and then we'll go ahead and use the heat gun, then do another coat. The second coat always causes it to crackle more. So even if you get some crackle on the first coat, don't worry, you're not going to cover it all up because it'll actually reactivate the first coat and it'll crackle even more, especially if you use a heat gun. So now that I have all of them painted and ready to go, I am going to just put some Sweet Pickins dark oil wax on my spindles, and I'm going to paint this on just with a little fan brush. Make sure I get it on there really good. It has an oily consistency, and it will dry rock hard, and it's great for getting in all of those little crevices and cracks and crazing and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and go over all three of these, and I'll be sitting them out for about 10 to 15 minutes and wiping it all, back or the excess off later. So now I have my other spindles that I they're the thicker ones, and I'm going to go ahead and use again that Extreme Guard satin. I'm going to go over these 2 times just because they're super dry, and that first coat is just going to be absorbed in there, so you want to make sure you coat it again so that you can get the full look of the milk paint that you want, the chipping and cracking and crazing. So we're going to go ahead and do that one time. We're going to dry it, and then I'm going to go ahead and just put my paint on after that. So after my 2 coats of the Extreme Guard have dried, I'm going to go ahead and start taking that same mixture of the milk paint, and I'm going to go over one of these spindles in the green and go over it with 1 coat, let it dry, or dry it with the heat gun. I always use my heat gun when I use milk paint, just about. And then I'm going to go ahead and do it again. And I usually almost always use 2 coats, simply because usually the second coat, usually it'll crackle even more. It only depends. Like if I'm doing it over a crackle medium, you really can't go 2 coats. But almost all the other times I will always use 2 coats because the second coat will make the first coat crackle more. So So of course I'm going to go ahead and sand off any chippy paint, and then I'm going to do some additional distressing, because the whole idea is to make these look old, and they are old, but you know, we're just gonna, but they're freshly painted, so we don't want them to look freshly painted. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of just go on the edges and all the little grooves and get in there and take off any loose paint, and then also do some additional sanding to make sure this has a old vintage look to it. So now I've moved on to the red spindle, and we're going to go ahead and do that as well. And you can see that it is absorbing a lot of that red paint. So we're going to go ahead and put the one coat on, let it, or well, we don't let it dry. I always force dry it just about with my heat gun. And then I'll go ahead and put the second coat on, and then of course go and sand it, take off any chippy paint. You can't really see a lot of crackling in these, and the green and the red really didn't for some reason. But when it's all done, you'll see that there is a little bit of crackling, a little crazing, and you add that to the distressing, and it really does give it a vintage look. You could probably use different chalk paint and just distress it back, but I don't know, milk paint just is a different ball game. It just gives you a different type of crackle and old look, and I love using it. So we're going to go ahead and force some crackle again, and like I said, you can't really see it that well on the dark color too much, but it is there. I mean, not a lot, but it is there, and it all adds to the effect. So of course I sand off any extra, and then I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that I get where it would normally be worn off, you know, like if you had an old piece of furniture or something. And I'm going to go ahead and go all around that and make sure that I get anything loose off. So now I'm going back to my other longer, thinner spindles, and I'm drying, taking all the oil wax off. You want to make sure you get all of the extra oil wax off. And it looks a little shiny, but in a day or so it'll dry, not completely flat, but very flat. So now here is our very, very last spindle, and I am painting it with white. And the white by this time has gotten really thick. So it doesn't look like it needs 2 coats, but I'm going to put 2 coats on it because I know that it'll cause additional crackling. And we're going to go ahead and just put 1 coat on again, and you know, let it do its thing with the heat gun, and then I'll go ahead and put a second coat on. So after those coats are dry, I'm going to go ahead and take my finger sander, and this has quite a bit of crackling and crazing on it. For some reason the white just seemed to crackle more on everything I put it on, so I don't know. You know, I really don't know why. So anyway, I'm going ahead and I'm going to go ahead and take off all the extra little chippy paint. There's quite a bit of it, and I really love the look of this. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get all that off, and I'm going to go ahead and put oil wax on all of these because I want them to have that same vintage look. And you put it on. I know it looks really, really dark, but most of it wipes off. And I did not pre-treat these at all. Sometimes I put like a clear wax on or a clear sealer, but I want this oil wax to absorb quite a bit. I want it to darken the paint, make the red and the green look richer, make that white look vintage. So yeah, I'm going to go over all of these. I'm going to go ahead and leave them for about 10 or 15 minutes. And that's about how long it takes to really absorb in there. And then you want to get a clean rag and wipe it off. And it takes about a day or so for the shininess to really completely go away. Well, it doesn't completely go away. I mean, it has a smooth finish to it, but it's not shiny. So anyway, I'm going to wipe all that off. You can see how beautiful all the crackling and crazing and that. I hope you can see that anyway. And now we're going to move on to the fun parts that are not quite as boring. I'm going to take a wood heart that I purchased, I don't know where, probably on Amazon, I would imagine. And I'm going to paint it with cast iron by Fusion. It's an all-in-one paint. And I'm going to do both sides. Anytime you're using one of those thin pieces of wood, you want to always paint both sides, even if you're not going to see it, because otherwise you'll get some warping. So I'm doing the other side as well, and I'm only going one coat. I don't have to have perfect coverage. So now I'm taking one of the tiles that you get at the Dollar Tree. You can also get these at Hobby Lobby. They have similar type of tiles like at the hardware store. You can get wallpaper. You can use real tin if you've got it. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this on there. I know that it comes apart, but this is going to help me cut around it. I want to cut out that heart. I'm going to put that clear thing on the back to save the rest of it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it and get it to fit. I took off the little plastic part that doesn't attach. They come apart once you cut it. So anyway, yeah, I cut it to fit, and now what I'm doing is I'm using my super glue that has a spray adhesive or spray accelerant. I'm not using hot glue because I have noticed one time I did that and it didn't melt it completely, but it kind of sort of melted it because my glue gun's pretty hot. And so I get that on there, and I'm going to go ahead and spray it and get it glued together. And like I said, we do cover up one side that we painted, but I painted it because you don't want warping. So now I'm going to go ahead and take that cast iron, and I'm going to go over the front of this. And I'm going to go ahead and just do one coat. And I will dry it with my heat gun, but I'm going to give you a warning. Do not get your heat gun too close because it will melt it. It will completely melt them. So I have done that. They'll just go flat. So yeah, don't do that. So I'm really moving it around, and I've got it up pretty high. And so after I do that, I'm taking that same white milk paint, and I'm going to go over the whole thing with it. And there was some of this that was not dry, so I'm going to go ahead and dry that and make sure it's. I don't want gray. I want two separate colors. That's why I used the cast iron from Fusion. Fusion has a built-in top coat, so I didn't have to worry about the colors mixing, but I needed to wait for them to dry. You definitely want to put a top coat on if you use like a paint that doesn't have a top coat, because you don't want to mix the milk paint would reactivate it. So after I got that milk paint on, I'm going to go ahead and dry it with the heat gun, but again, I'm keeping it moving and making sure that I don't melt that plastic. I'm going to go over the back. The back has some beautiful cracking and crazing. So did the front too. the white for some reason is just really doing a great job. So yeah, I'm going to go over that. I'm not looking for perfect coverage. By this time, the white has gotten really thick, so it's not taken a lot. I think I only did one coat on each one, just kind of a one coat and a touch up. And then again, I used my heat gun to dry it, and that will give us a lot of nice little cracking and crazing. So now I'm going over them with the Sweet Pickins Dark Oil Wax because it really does bring out all the beautiful cracking. And you see it really did do a lot on the back as well. So now I've moved on to the middle-sized spindles, and I am drilling a little hole in the top of them. And I'm going to put a tiny little eyelet in there. It's a little screw eyelet. I think I got these off of Amazon. I mean, you get like a gazillion of them for very inexpensive. And I'm sure you could get them at the hardware store. I think the ones at the hardware store are a little bigger. These are more for like jewelry. But if you want bigger ones, I mean, you can get bigger ones. But these work really well. And so I'm not drilling too deep. I just want enough to get it started so that I can twist them in there, because you want a good connection. If you don't get a good connection, you could add some glue, but I just drill a little bit and then twist it in. I might take some pliers and kind of make sure it goes in there good. And now I'm just taking just some material that I have and ripping it. And I'm going to go ahead and put it through there with the skewer. And I'm going to go ahead and tie it to where it has something to hang from on your tree. And then I'm also going to tie a bow at the base of it. And I'm going to do that on both of them. And it's pretty simple, and it just makes a nice little ornament. So now I just have some ribbon. This is the last of this ribbon, and I cannot find it anywhere. If I could find it, I would tell you. I love it. Anyway, this is what I have left, and I'm going to go around it twice because I want kind of a little band. You could use twine, you could use material, whatever you have. You could use lace, would be pretty, but I have this, and it has all three colors in it. And I'm going to just put that on there, and that's all I'm going to do. That is just a stack that's going to go somewhere, that's going to sit somewhere, maybe on a book stack or something. Yep. Now, I decided on this little heart that I want a little bit more distressing, so I decided to, even though I already put the oil wax on it, I'm going to go ahead and sand the top of it a little bit because I want it to be a little bit more distressed. And go over the back a little bit, get that a little bit more distressed as well. See all that beautiful cracking, but I just want more distress on the bottom of it, and then I wanted more on the tops of that to make it look more like old tin. So anyway, I go over it and I just basically wipe it right back off, just because I want to make sure it's sealed, and I like that a lot better. It looks a lot more authentic, like it's a real tin ceiling, or anyway, so now I'm going to glue these two together. And so I bet you guessed what we're making, a little angel. So anyway, I am using my super glue, and I also put a little bit of hot glue in there later because I didn't feel like it was connected really well. And I am going to when I get downstairs, put a little screw in the back of it to make sure it stays on there. So I didn't do it here, but I do that. I put a little dab of hot glue to give it more to connect to, and then I went ahead and just put one screw in the back just to make sure it stayed together. You want to make sure that you put the heart up high enough or level so that this thing can stand up, because it's supposed to be like a shelf sitter. You could put a little eyelet in the top of it and hang it from a tree. There's no reason why you couldn't do that. I didn't do that, but you definitely could do that. So I have this old lace piece. I think it came from a tablecloth, and I'm cutting around it, and I made it to go over the head of the angel, and I cut the back a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and put some hot glue. I just basically cut a hole in the middle of it. If you've got a little doily, you could do that too, just to make like a little angel's collar. And now I have some ribbon, and this is just sari silk ribbon in a burgundy color, and you definitely could go with an off-white. You could go with another lace. I don't know why, I just thought it needed a little pop of color. I don't know. At first I was going to put lace on it, or just a off-white lace, and then I don't know, just something told me to put the burgundy. So anyway, that's what I did, and that's it, guys. That is all of my projects for today. And this is Winston, and he is doing pretty good, guys. He is, I know it doesn't look like it in this picture, but he loves the ball, and he is sleeping with the ball, and he just finally got the ball, and he's walking around, and he goes for his first chemo treatment tomorrow, but his spirits have been good, and he seems like he's doing really, really good. And we will keep you informed because I've had several people wanting Winston updates. So keep on praying for him, and he is doing great. So here's our first set of spindles. I know this wasn't a very exciting video, guys, but I was excited about the spindles, and I couldn't wait to play with them. I really thought that they were just so great for I've just been wanting some for so long, and I keep seeing people make stuff with them, and I'm like, I want some of those. So anyway, those are the stack that I made, and pretty simple, not a super exciting thing, but I saw those all over the vintage market, and they were selling and they didn't even really they were mostly with twine on them or something, and I don't know, they were like $15. So, I got them for $1 a piece. So a little bit of work. And then the spindle ornaments, I saw those all over the place too. And yeah, I love these. I think they turned out nice and vintage. And it has just the right look, I think, for a spindle. I'm really happy with those. And I think it goes really good with that particular style. And I could really kick myself, guys, because he had so many of them. And now that I think about it, I just, oh gosh, I wished I'd have got more. But I know where his shop is. And that's one of the cool things about going to things like that, because the vendors are there. Not like when you go to an antique store and they're not there. The vendors are there, so you get to talk with them and find out where they are and, make connections. So here's our angel, and I absolutely love her. I think she's fantastic. I'm probably going to keep her. I might keep them all. I can't keep everything, but I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, she turned out really cute. Super easy to make. Not really a lot to it. I think it convincingly looks like old tin on the back. If you have some old tin, then use it. But I don't, I actually do have some, but this was easy to do, and it really mimics that look. And like I said, you can find like at Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff, and also Hobby Lobby. And I have also seen people use wallpaper, and I did actually buy some. I just haven't used it for that yet. Anyway, that's our angel, and I really love her. So I'm sorry that this video came out late. I took a day off. I knew it'd be one day late, but then I had some technical difficulties, so it's actually not going to come out until Monday morning. So sorry about that. Anyway, if you happen to need any IOD, Fusion, Paint Couture, Pet Art, Sweet Pickins, Milk Paint, JRB, Roycycle paper, or decoupage paper, you can get that on my website, rehatchdesigns.com. And I am planning on having a video out on Wednesday. Not sure what it's going to be about yet. I have kind of an idea, but I might do more upcycles with stuff I got. I'm not sure. So I will see you guys again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.